Welcome to Spooky Bear, where darkness whispers your name. And today, please enjoy.
This is the room where you lied. I woke on a mattress stained a dull ochre, the odor of old sweat and mildew in my nostrils. The ceiling above me was paneled in warped pine, the boards swollen with years of damp. I pushed myself to my feet, knees wobbling, and peered around. I was in a long, narrow hallway, lit by a single bulb that swung like a pendulum in the stale air. Doors lined both walls, 6 on each side, each painted cheap white, chipped at the edges. At the far end, a door stood slightly ajar, revealing only shadow. I touched my temple. My head throbbed. I didn't know this place. My last memory was leaving my apartment, coffee in hand, but everything else felt folded into darkness. Panic tickled my spine. I tested the nearest door. Locked. I moved on. I found the living room. The door swung inward at my touch. The room was cluttered with dusty furniture. A threadbare sofa, a cracked TV screen, a coffee table strewn with old newspapers. The air was thick with dust motes, dancing in the single shaft of light that fell through a grimy window. Behind the TV, my reflection flickered, a face I barely recognized, pale, drawn, haunted. A voice, my voice but remote, whispered, "You took the money." My stomach clenched. Memories surged unbidden. My mother's bank account, drained one night when I stole enough to cover my debts. I pressed my palm to my chest. "I took it," I whispered. "I meant to pay it back." The TV crackled, then splintered into darkness. The sofa cushions rustled as though something moved within. I fled. Next was the kitchen. No door handle, only a push plate. Inside, the stove's burners glowed faint orange despite the gas off. The fridge hummed a low dirge. On the counter lay a single dish, my favorite chicken schnitzel, cold and congealing. I recalled the night I told my sister I'd cooked extra, hoping she'd join me for dinner. Instead, she'd been trapped at work. No schnitzel ever existed. I'd lied so she wouldn't feel alone. She never forgave me. I murmured, "I lied." The burners flared, scorching the pane above, leaving a scar that spelled my name, Wentlia. I stumbled back, coughing on hot fumes. The bathroom was too small, sink, toilet, and mirror. I stepped inside, flip-flops echoing on cracked tile. The mirror fogged as though exhaling. My reflection emerged, eyes red, lips trembling. A third whisper, "You let her die." My breath hitched. I saw again the paramedic's face as I froze at the curb, phone in hand. I'd been too afraid to help the woman bleeding under my car. I did nothing. The mirror rippled. My reflection reached out, palms pressed to the glass from the inside, nails gouging cracks. I screamed, slapped the mirror. The glass shattered inward, but the shards formed a perfect, unbroken image of me, smiling. I backed out with shaking legs. A bright nursery confronted me next. Crib, rocking chair, childhood drawings pinned to walls. The drawings were mine, stick figures with names scrawled beneath them. But one figure was crossed out, Tommy, Tommy. Heat flooded my cheeks. I remembered Tommy, my imaginary friend, but he wasn't imaginary. He'd existed, my nephew, born sick, entrusted to my care one afternoon. I'd left him sleeping with the TV loud, glanced away, only to return and find him convulsing. I panicked and left to fetch help. Too late. He died. I buried the memory deep. I knelt by the crib. "I left you," I whispered. The mobile above me began to spin. The lullaby slowed, threads of melody fraying. The crib bars bent inward, as though Tommy's ghost tried to escape. I scrambled away. The study door was unlocked. Inside, rows of bookshelves bowed under dusty tomes. A desk lamp glowed, illuminating a letter on the desk in my handwriting. "Dear Robert, I lied about your discovery. I knew it was mine. Forgive me. Anna." Robert was my colleague, a scientist whose research I stole. The letter hung suspended, ink dripping like tears. I sank into the chair and read it again. My hands trembled. I hadn't thought about that betrayal in years. The lamp flared, flickered, and died. In its grateful darkness, I heard Robert's measured footsteps. No one there. I left, refusing to look back. At the end of the hall, I found a final door, not ajar this time, but open wide. Beyond lay a narrow chamber, walls of black obsidian, floor a pale snare. There was no opposite wall, only blackness. I stepped inside, and the door swung shut behind me with a click I felt, not heard. The chamber was silent but for my ragged breathing. The obsidian walls started to shift, reflecting not my face but glimpses of the people I'd betrayed. My mother's tear-streaked face, my sister's drifting silhouette, my colleague's stunned eyes, Tommy's silent mouth. They flickered like phantoms in dark glass. A final whisper boomed. "You lied to everyone. You can't leave." But my heart seized. I pressed my ear to the wall. No seams, no cracks. Cold sweat slid down my sides. Panic flared. I pounded the wall with fists, heard only hollow echoes. I tumbled to the floor, tears scraping my cheeks. I no longer had secrets to confess. They'd all bled away in earlier rooms. The chamber demanded one final truth I hadn't yet spoken. I closed my eyes and called out. I lied. To myself. Silence. Then a single deep sigh, like the world exhaling. The door behind me unlatched. I rose, voice trembling. I lied. About who I was. I stepped out into the hallway. Doors stood open one by one, light pooling on the wood floor. The crooked family portrait from the entry was back, faces unblurred, my own face reflected above those of strangers. I realized then the house was built from my soul, each room a hidden vault of guilt. I opened the front door, drenched in dawn light. My phone lay on the steps, buzzing with messages. Friends wondered where I'd been. Work asked if I'd lost my mind. I picked it up, feeling every confession settled in my bones. I turned once, expecting the house to vanish. Instead, it stood silent, its walls grey and humming with unspoken truths. I exhaled, the air tasting of regret and relief. I walked away, leaving doors wide for other guilty souls. And in my pocket, the echo of the last whisper, "This is the room where you lied." Oh, I didn't look back.
Sleep is a luxury, and you've just run out. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be waiting for you, if you dare.